Four feared dead, others injured as explosion rocks Niger community. Lagosians decry soaring prices of street food amid rising cost of living. NDLEA thwarts UK-bound cannabis exports, seizes weapons and drugs in Lagos. On the foreign scene, first 3 released Israeli hostages discharged. Hello and welcome to Trust News Hour. I am Chiamaka Mwafo. Now the news. At least 4 people are found dead in an explosion at Sabonpegi in Mashengu local government area of Niger State. The explosion was first believed to have occurred in the early hours of Sunday in a mining site, but the police have confirmed that the incident actually occurred in a residential house. Locals from the community confirmed that 4 bodies had been recovered from the scene of the blast, explaining that the number of casualties could be higher. It was learned that the explosion has sent pandemonium to the entire Sabonpegi and its neighboring villages, including New Busa, headquarters of Borgu local government area of the state, leaving the people scrambling for safety. However, the cause of the explosion has been scanty, but there are indications that poor handling of explosive devices being used by a mining company may have been responsible for the blast. Joining us via telephone to further give us insight on this issue is Daily Trust reporter Abubakar Kote in Niger State. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on the News Hour.
Good evening.
Abubakar, from the story we've read so far, there seems to be a conflicting report. Some say it's this situation happened in a mining site, while another report says in a residential area. Which exactly is the true position of the situation?
The truth is that the explosion didn't happen at a mining site. It happened at a residential building occupied by miners in Sabonpegi near the Sabonpegi Central Mosque. The entire area that extends to New Busa, Wawa, and Kangi, Awuru, and other communities in Borogu local government and also Moshogu has a lot of mining sites being managed by locals and other prominent people. So the miners here use dynamite, which is known as nakia, to break stones that are too strong for them to break manually. And this nakia, as resident told me, were being manufactured in New Busa and other parts of the area by locals, by the miners themselves. There are people who manufacture it and then the miners buy from them. So the nakia, that's the explosive device, was taken to Sabonpege yesterday night by miners, which they wanted to use today to break some stones. And unfortunately, the devices were kept in where they have rented houses. And then what led to explosion was that the dynamite, the nature of the device, it doesn't withstand heat. So, and it was kept in the room since yesterday night up to this moment. And also that it doesn't like rough handling. Maybe the way it was offloaded yesterday and then kept in the very hot room led to explosion this morning.
All right. First of all, but the souls of the departed rest in peace. But from what you've said so far, it seems that the people who have been handling these explosives are not qualified to handle the explosives.
Yes, the explosive itself, according to what a resident said, is being manufactured by non-experts who have no any knowledge of how explosives should first be manufactured and then should be used. And then the buyers too are not also that literate to be caution to take cautionary measures on how this is. That's why. Knowing that it doesn't withstand too much heat, they still kept it in the room that was hot since yesterday night and then waiting to be used this morning. I learned that it is just today's incident that has gotten attention. Each time these devices are used in the mining site in the area, it actually causes sometimes death or injuries because it's something that, if explode, covered a wide range of area. For example, today's explosion, resident in Wawa, which is about 100 miles away from Sabo Pege, told me that the explosion shattered the window glasses of his house and even and other neighboring villages, covering a distance of about 100 miles. So it's just that today's one, because it happens and in the community, that it has drawn attention. This is something that happens on a regular basis at the mining sites.
All right, thank you. Just before you go, Akose, any updates on the number of casualties from this incident?
As multiple sources have told me from community, so far 4 dead bodies have been recovered, and more. They expect that more people will be, because they are still searching for more people in the rubbles of the houses that collapsed due to explosion. And then people that have sustained severe injuries, they also have that. I can believe that the death toll may rise because of the severity of injury, even though they are in the hospital right now, but they were severely affected because the buildings collapsed on some of them, leading to severe injuries.
All right, thank you so much, Akote. Hopefully the government, both federal and state, and the ministry involved will do right to make sure that this doesn't happen again. Thank you so much, Akote, for joining us on News Hour tonight. Moving on to other stories, at least 27 Nigerian soldiers were killed in a terrorist suicide attack in the northeast, two army sources told AFP on Sunday. On Friday, troops launched a ground offensive on a stronghold of Islamic State-affiliated militants in a wasteland straddling Borno and Yobe states. The suicide attack killed 27 soldiers, including the commander, and left several others seriously injured. A military officer said, making this one of the deadliest suicide attacks targeting soldiers in recent years. He said the death toll could rise as some of the wounded were in a critical condition. The suicide bomber rammed his explosives-laden vehicle concealed in thick foliage into a convoy of advancing troops targeting the Islamic State West Africa province ISWAP in Timbuktu Triangle, the two military officers said. Both officers asked not to be identified as they were not authorized to speak on the incident. Nigerian military officials were not available for comment. On the rise in food inflation has continued to have negative implications on the growth of the nation's economy and standard of living. On the streets of Lagos, go-to breakfasts like akamu, ogi, koko, generally known as pap, a staple food that is mostly consumed by many Nigerians, particularly in the mornings, with either moi moi or beans cake, is gradually becoming unaffordable for many citizens. Here's more in this report.
Akamu, popularly known as pap, is a product made from dry corn, millet or guinea corn. This food is mostly eaten in the morning by many in Africa, practically in Nigeria. In Lagos State, it is mostly sold on the streets by women who hawk it from street to street and from house to another. Makers of this go-to breakfast lament that the actress of making it has been compounded by the surging cost of grains as well as low patronage.
Before we buy corn 1,800, now the corn is 3,000 naira now per pint. Before we can see ginger of 300, 100 naira, 200. Now to see ginger of 1,000, 2,000 naira is difficult to put it inside the ogi. Even include pepper self, we can't near them. Everything for where would they use and do ogi is they expensive too much.
That's why we don't have another thing to do than to try to be doing it. That's why we are still on it. If not, we will have leave the ogi side, but there's nothing to do again. That's why we are trying to make our effort on it and to be trying it little by little.
As for the corn, the white and the yellow, there is no difference between the two of them. It's just the color. They all work the same way. Both the white and the yellow, they work the same way. But why the millet, why the guinea corn is richer for baby, especially mothers that is taking care of their babies. After 6 months, that guinea corn is very, very nutrition for the babies.
Lagosians who rely on this quick meal for their breakfast say it is gradually becoming out of their reach due to the rising cost.
Before we used to buy cocoa 15 naira, 100 naira, but now starting from 200, 300, 500. So we cannot afford to buy cocoa of 15 naira, 100 naira again. Cocoa we are buying, we used to buy at 100 naira before, it's the one we are buying about 300 naira now. So because of the transport, yes, I think because when you ask them, that's what caused it, where they are taking it from, the transport. It was since when they increased the fuel, that was when all these issues arise. So there's nothing we can do to it. We need to eat, and then that's it.
Consumers of this cereal meal are calling on the government to reduce the price of fuel in the country, which they believe is the main cause of its hike in the prices of food items.
Despite government's intervention in wheat farming, farmers in the state are facing challenges of limited access to subsidized farm inputs. The farmers complain that only a few that have connections in government are benefiting from the subsidy, while lack of access to agricultural extension services means farmers may not receive the necessary training or information to improve their practices. Trust TV's correspondent Ali Rabiu Ali filed the report.
There are a slew of complaints from the wheat farmers, starting from price volatility of wheat, which means their income is uncertain. Farmers are therefore unable to plan and invest, besides which soil erosion and depletion of soil nutrients can hinder productivity and sustainability. Other complaints include inadequate infrastructure, poor road network, and lack of access to financial services, making it difficult to invest in machinery, seedlings, and fertilizers. But chief among the complaints is the fact that despite government's much publicized program, subsidized inputs are not reaching them.
There are a lot of expectations from the farmers, likewise from the side of the government. These expectations, particularly on the inputs, the seed, and machineries. Those are the challenges when it comes to harvesting wheat. It's somehow very difficult and time-consuming.
For climate variability, the AFAN chairman said changes in weather patterns, including irregular weather conditions and extreme temperatures, affect with production. According to him, many farmers rely on traditional farming methods and are resistant to adopting modern techniques and technology.
At times, you experience that your land has changes, or changes from the other form, original form. Maybe that flood comes with alluvial sand, and the nutrient of that soil and the nature of that soil, of course, will change, because the alluvial sand is not as or equal to the loamy sand that you can able to cultivate.
A wheat farmer in Warwade Dam, Dutse local government area, Muhammad Sunusi Dutse, who uses modern technology, says government needs to do more for farmers, especially the grassroots farmers who are the real farmers. According to him, most of the interventions of government are not reaching this class of farmers, but are going to who sell the inputs to make profits. This explains that local farmers are not reaching into modern farming, which is why their farm yields are poor.
This modern farming, I mean, as you can see now, I'm using solar for water pump. But if I told you how much I bought it, a poor village farmer cannot get it. Yeah, it depends. I have two. This is the one that you saw with me right now. I bought it almost 950,000. And I have one of 450,000. So if you compare a farmer that is going to farm to get something to eat, not to sell, cannot afford to buy something of 400 or 500,000.
Muhammad Ahmadu, a wheat farmer in Kachidam, in Dutse local government area, says though government is working, farm inputs are not going to the appropriate people. Ahmadu suggests that government officials should follow farmers to their farms rather than ask farmers to fill forms. He said most of the people that are filling the form and benefited are not the real farmers. Recall that recently, Jigawa State Governor Umar Namadi had announced that local wheat farmers are benefiting from a substantial subsidy program, with the state government covering 75% of costs associated with agricultural input. This initiative, according to the governor, aims to enhance wheat production and support from self-sufficiency in Nigeria.
Former President Muhammadu Buhari has urged leaders in Katsina State to ensure local government elections reflect the true will of the people, emphasizing their importance in strengthening democracy. The former president made this call during the All Progressives Congress Katsina State Caucus meeting held in Katsina over the weekend. The report.
Addressing the gathering, former President Muhammadu Buhari stressed the need for transparency and accountability in governance, noting that it remains the only way for leaders to earn public trust and respect. He lauded the leadership style of Governor Dikko Radda and advised political leaders to mend fences with their followers, underscoring that democracy thrives on exemplary leadership. Governor Dikko Radda, in his remarks, directed APC stakeholders in the state to intensify efforts to mobilize electoral support ahead of the forthcoming local government elections. He urged them to engage their communities and secure widespread backing while emphasizing the importance of a transparent electoral process. Governor Radda also commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration for recognizing Katsina State through key ministerial and federal appointments. Deputy Governor Faruk Lawal, who heads the local government election planning committee, highlighted the state government's achievements in health, education, agriculture, and human capital development. He announced the procurement of grains worth 9 billion naira for distribution during Ramadan and plans to provide fertilizers to farmers within the first quarter of the year. Adding to the discussions, the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Architect Ahmad Musa Dangiwa, and the Minister of Arts, Culture and Creative Economy, Hamnatu Musa Musawa, commended the Radda administration for its transparent governance and strategic efforts to address the needs of the people. The caucus meeting brought together key political figures in Katsina State, including former governors Aminu Bello Masari and Ibrahim Shema, and former deputy governors Alhaji Surajo Damari and Barrister Abdullahi Garba Faskari.
Still in political matters, tensions within the National Working Committee NWC of the People's Democratic Party PDP escalated over the weekend, with 11 out of 17 members disowning acting national chairman Ambassador Umaru Damagum and National Secretary Senator Samuel Anyanwu. The rift stems from a dispute over the appointment of legal counsel for a pending Supreme Court appeal. The controversy was triggered by December 20, 2024 letter in which Damagum appointed Dr. J.Y. Musa, SAN and Co., reportedly linked to Minister Nyesom Wike, as the party's legal representatives for Anyanwu Supreme Court case. Damagum claimed to act on behalf of the NWC, but this decision drew backlash from other members who insisted that appointing legal counsel falls under the purview of the National Legal Advisor, not the acting chairman. In protest, A group of NWC members led by Deputy National Chairman South, Ambassador Taufik Arapaja, wrote to the President of the Court of Appeal urging the court to disregard Damago's directive. They argued that the PDP constitution, particularly Section 42, grants the National Legal Advisor sole authority to appoint external solicitors. PDP spokesperson Debo Luogwawa reaffirmed the NWC's position, emphasizing that the party's constitution must guide such decisions. Away from that, operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, have intercepted a consignment of loud, a synthetic strain of cannabis concealed in duvet, packaged for export to the United Kingdom through the cargo shed of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos. Two suspects linked to the bid to export the consignments to the United Kingdom were arrested following the discovery by the NDLEA officers on Tuesday, 21st January 2025. 6 parcels of the psychoactive substance with a gross weight of 3.50 kilograms were concealed inside the duvet. In his statement, Austin Balogun, who is the main agent who hired Adakole, claimed he was paid 700,000 naira to cargo the consignment to the United Kingdom, but spent a fraction of the money on export, handling charges, and the bulk to pay for an apartment. Other exhibits seized from the duo include 3 locally made double-barrel rifles, 1 locally made double-barrel pistol, 1 English-made pistol, 1 locally made single-barrel rifle, 3 cartridges, and 1 empty 9mm cartridge, as well as an iron head axe. Another raid in Lagos on Sunday 19 January led to the seizure of 47 kilograms skunk, a strain of cannabis, and 25.46 kilogram nitrous oxide, popularly known as laughing gas, at the notorious Akala area of Moshi. In Ekiti State, a 26-year-old suspect, Adepoju Taiwo, was arrested by NDLEA officers on Thursday, 23 January, with 1.950 kilograms Canadian loud at Iworoko Road, Ilokun, Ado-Ekiti, the state capital, while Awal Sani was nabbed by operatives on Monday, 20 January, at Bode Serdu in Moro, local government area of Kwara State. A total of 50,000 pills of tramadol, 225 milligrams, weighing 36.56 kilograms, were recovered from him. The 6th Division of the Nigerian Army, Port Harcourt, said its troops have deactivated 13 illegal bunkering sites, destroyed over 150 locally made ovens, 4 boats, and recovered over 300,000 liters of stolen products. A press statement issued in Port Harcourt on Sunday by Lieutenant Colonel Danjuma Jonah, the division's Deputy Director of Public Relations, said the operations were conducted closely with other sister services from the 20th to the 26th of January 2025. Lieutenant Colonel Jonah said about 15 suspected vandals of oil installations were arrested. Lieutenant Colonel Jonah said while on routine anti-illegal bunkering operations, troops swooped on a vandalized point with a large pool stocked with 250,000 liters of stolen crude oil at Ugo Community in Oromoiwan local government area of Edo State. He said the products were suspected to have been stolen from a vandalized point, saying that further exploitation in the area led to the recovery of pumping machine, hose, and pipes. He also said that the General Officer commanding 6th Division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Emmanuel Eric Emeka, commended the troops for its efforts in fighting illegal oil theft and reassured that the days of criminal elements masquerading as economic saboteurs and associated crimes are numbered. You're still on to News Hour on Trust TV. Still to come. Abuja Bikers community continues to grow despite economic challenges. More when we return. Please do stay with us. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. A recap of our top stories. We told you that 4 fared dead, others injured as explosion rocks Niger Community. We also informed you that Lagosians decry soaring prices of street food amid rising cost of living. To more stories. A physically challenged individual from the Ricus community in Jos North local government area of Plateau State, Muratala Abubakar, has shared his reasons for abandoning begging despite his disability. An emotional reflection on his past, Murtala recalls the painful experience he endured during his time as a beggar. Adamusa met with Murtala and filed this report.
Murtala Abubakar, 59, was born without any physical limitations, but at the age of 7, he developed a rare disease that eventually led to his disability. In many communities, particularly in northern Nigeria, many disabled individuals tend to begin to support themselves and their families. However, Murtala, who has traveled to places such as Enugu, Aba and Port Harcourt, believes that begging is degrading and erodes one's dignity. Growing up, I was often asked to go out and beg. However, as I matured, I realized that begging was not the answer. It was difficult to break away, but I decided to pursue business ventures, even though I had no capital. With Allah's guidance, after enduring many struggles, I was able to establish a small provision shop that now supports my family's livelihood. My wives are all disabled, but I discourage them from begging as it devalues self-respect. I encourage them to explore small businesses within the home to help us support the family. Murtala's small business now sustains him and his family of 20, including his wives and children. With this business, I provide for 20 people. I pay school fees for my children. Some have completed primary school and others have finished secondary school. I have married off 5 of my daughters. For my sons, I have enrolled them in various vocational training programs, as I cannot afford to send them to higher education. Though the capital is not sufficient, I managed to sustain our lives. When asked how he feels to no longer be dependent on begging, Murtala shared his thoughts. I feel happiness knowing I no longer have to beg. I could not bear the thought of stretching my hand out to ask for charity, which is why I quit. Even when my shop was destroyed by fire 6 months ago, I refused to return to begging. I know the harm it does to one's dignity. Thankfully, people at this motor park helped me raise money to rebuild my shop. Murtala calls on the government to recognize people with disabilities as integral members of the society, urging support for their business ventures. He believes that begging is not the solution to poverty. Ado Musa reporting for Trust TV.
Indeed, begging is not the solution to poverty. An inspiring story there. Back here in the Federal Capital Territory, bikers are urging aspiring riders to master the basics of safe riding to become responsible ambassadors of the biking community. Trust TV's Kabiru Lawal reports from the Bikers Thanksgiving event, which serves as a platform to promote safe riding practices and foster camaraderie among enthusiasts.
Bikers in Abuja gathered to share insights and strategies to reduce biking accidents in the city. The event focused on creating awareness and fostering culture of safety among both seasoned and aspiring riders. Homam Dahoms Labadibi, a biker with over a decade of experience, highlighted the misconceptions surrounding the bikers. He lamented the loss of lives among bikers in Abuja, attributing it to lack of safety knowledge and the intense passion that often drives the sport.
That ride bikes for as a hobby, as a passion, and we are all over Nigeria, as you know, not only of course Abuja, Lagos, Port Harcourt, as far as Kebbi, as far as Yola, Adamawa State, Cross River, at the Port Harcourt rivers, all over Nigeria. And we are just, it's a sport for us. It's actually a way of life. It's therapy for us. It's something that is healthy for us, physically, mentally, psychologically. The bike I bought presently, current value is worth about 7.5 million. You know, and there are more expensive bikes as well, and there are also cheaper bikes as well, used ones, and all this is as a factor of the economy, the exchange rates, and all that. So, if you want to ride a bike, you want to become a biker, it's very, very simple. You save up with 1.5 million naira, you can get a nice, clean, safe bike. You can get kits for your helmets, jackets, and everything you need at a very friendly budget. You can do that one for everything for as low as 250,000-300,000 naira.
Assistant Secretary General of the Superbike Clubs Association of Nigeria noted that despite the high cost of maintaining power bikes, the passion for biking remains undiminished. He emphasized that for many, biking is not just a sport, but a lifestyle deeply rooted in passion and commitment.
Expensive these days. If you want to buy cars, very expensive. Whatever you even buy in Nigeria is very expensive. So we just ride because we have that passion, we have the zeal for biking, and we want to build a one Nigeria for ourselves. Well, it's not really easy with the inflation rate in Nigeria and the economy, but because of that passion you have to really do what you have to do.
Other bikers echoed similar sentiment, underscoring the strong sense of community and irreplaceable joy that biking brings.
The gathering of bikers is synonymous with enjoyment, camaraderie and all that, but it is amazing that someone thought it wise today that we should come and glorify God for sparing our lives. I mean, we've been riding round the clock throughout the year from one nation to the other. We travel all around the world, wherever road leads us, but God has been the one safeguarding us. So it's a very thoughtful one that we are here today to glorify God, and I'm happy that I'm part of the inaugural service.
Beyond the adrenaline rush, power biking fosters a sense of sportsmanship and creates a unique bond among enthusiasts. Riders stress that activity transcends mere leisure, serving as a medium for building relationships and promoting discipline. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Kannywood. Nigeria's Hausa language film industry has immense potential as Hausa language, ranked by Ethnologue, is the 11th most spoken language in the world. In recent times, a number of Hausa films have been screening in Asia and Europe, with one of those films finally entered for the 97th Global Academy Awards known as the Oscars, built to hold in March this year. Trust TV's Abdulaziz Ibrahim looks at the recent success and potential for the growth of the industry. His report.
Beyond the successes and what challenges lie ahead, a veteran industry practitioner and a professor of communication take us back to Kannywood's beginnings.
Back in 1980, there was this drama known as Kobiri Yakari, loosely translated to Even When a Monkey is Fractured. That's the title. So I want to trace the history of Kannywood to that level. I want to believe that that was the beginning of everything, because many of us became encouraged to produce films out of that drama. People became sensitized, one, that you can overstretch your story beyond the 1 hour limit that we were used to. Secondly, the popularity of the program. And we glaringly saw how the telephone line of NTA was inundated with calls to repeat that drama. And it was repeated several times. So it was a pointer that there was need for such content within the Hausa viewing audience.
About that year, 1980, there were many drama groups in Kano, amateur drama groups. And these amateur drama groups in Kano were influenced significantly by NTA and other television stations in the country. Even after 3-4 years of writing scripts, getting costumes, getting money to hire this, hire that, taking a little bit up from their salary as TV show dramatists, they were able to produce their own film called Turming Denya. And that film was released in March 1990. And it was the first professional, if you like, house of video film.
The coming of digital platforms opened new opportunities for filmmakers who have been cashing out. A popular face on Kannywood Films believes versatility is key to standing the test of time in the industry.
I'm a film actress, a fully film actress, and I produce, I direct, I edit, and I do a lot of things. I do content creating. I have YouTube channel, you know. So, and I'm earning money through these different sectors that I have, I'm earning a lot of money. So just imagine, and the film industry, I'm not the reigning actress now of the film industry, but still I'm still relevant. So it's because I was able to expand myself. I was able to, you know, be able to learn different things in the film industry, not being an actress alone.
Recent films like May Martaba, Nanjala, Mama, Jalil and Kaka have received unprecedented attention by screening in Saudi Arabia, with May Martaba entered for an award in Netherlands and selected as Nigeria's official entry for the International Feature category at the 97th Academy Awards to hold March 2025. Seeing Hausa films in international screenings highlights the untapped potential of the industry. Experts believe there is a long way to go, as practitioners in the industry still have much to do to maintain and expand its global reach.
So if this is an industry that is driven by talent, because it's talent that qualified them to practice in the first instance, it's not their qualification. So since they have already embraced it and raised it to the level of becoming an industry, it is very important to build their capacity so that they can do what they are doing even better. So for me, capacity building will be the major thing if you want to move it upward.
Over the years, Kannywood has grown into an industry that serves as both entertainment and as a means of preserving the Hausa language. But with these successes, there are challenges like piracy and the lack of government support.
Nigeria, whether Nigeria likes it or not, we do not have better ambassadors than football and film, then music. So these are our ambassadors. Of course, fashion is coming in as well, but these are the ambassadors that will sell this country, that will give our youth employment, that the creativity of the economy can be used to foster our growth and development as a nation. So I will definitely canvas for the industry to be looked at from this standpoint, so that whatever enabling environment can be created by especially the government. Because if you take a look at the history of how the industry evolved, there was no participation, no facilitation of government in the process. It's sheer hard work and creativity of Nigerians, because we are known to be creative people, that gave us this industry. So the government needs to belt up and do its own bit so that that enabling environment is created so that it can be fostered for the development of the subsector.
Stakeholders believe that with dedication and the right support, Kannywood can not only sustain its current successes, but also become a global force in filmmaking. Abdulaziz Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Kano.
Over in Adamawa State, the governor, Amadu Umaru Fintiri, has urged the state's pilgrims traveling to Israel to be law-abiding and pray for a resolution to the ongoing insecurity in Nigeria. At a meeting with the National Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Christian Pilgrims Commission, Bishop Stephen Adigbite Tunde, Governor Fintiri noted that the insecurity has become a pervasive issue affecting national peace and development over the years and calls for urgent solutions. Gibson Swadigo tells us more.
Receiving the delegation, Governor Fintiri expressed hope that the pilgrims' journey and their prayers in the Holy Land will contribute to alleviating the suffering that Nigeria has endured due to criminal activities and ultimately guiding the nation towards a more promising future. Fintiri acknowledged that although the country possesses sound policies, it is currently facing significant difficulties, but maintained hope that brighter days lie ahead.
And to assure you that we will continue to put in sufficient attention to all facets of administration to ensure that Adamawa is placed rightly in the committee of states that are progressing this country.
In his address, Bishop Stephen Victor Adebiti Tunde commended Governor Fintiri and President Tinubu for their support for Christian pilgrimage initiatives in both Adamawa State and across the nation. He labeled this year's pilgrimage as a pilgrimage of hope and total restoration, expressing confidence that the pilgrims will return safely with positive news and renewed hope for a secure and better future for the state and the country at large.
Mr. President is proud of you. The Nigerian Christian Youth Commission is proud of you. And you, at the end of affair, you have allowed Christians to go on pilgrimage, to go and serve their God and pray. So we thank you for your support. And we must also thank Mr. President, because not for his own support and magnanimity, this journey will not be possible.
Meanwhile, there was an official flag-off orientation and farewell service to 180 Adama pilgrims organized by the state's Christian Pilgrim Welfare Board, which was attended by the Deputy Governor, Gibson Soadugo. Trust TV News, Yola.
Youth in northern Nigeria have been charged to channel their energy towards uplifting the region through innovations and to refrain from activities capable of detailing the region from development. This was part of a broader message at an engagement in Bauchi where stakeholders highlighted the human capital development gaps in the north. Adamu Imam reports.
This gathering of young Nigerians cut across different parts of northern Nigeria, pulled together with the aim of championing a cause that will reposition the region for growth and prosperity. Speaking on the importance of new thinking for youth, Professor Usman Yusuf tasked participants on the need to take proactive steps in rebuilding society instead of blame game.
This country belongs to all of you. This country has given my generation more than we can ever give back. It is up to you to give that to your children and grandchildren. But you cannot just be sleeping in the boys' quarters or doing TikTok or doing Facebook and expect something will come to you. You have to stand up, get involved. Get involved in whatever process you find yourself in your lungu, in your school, anywhere, get involved.
Other speakers say there is a need for robust progressive ideology to reform northern Nigeria and its teeming population.
Particularly in the north, the poor countries are blessed. We're endowed with so much resources, human capital, especially the youth. The age bracket you can see. To invite the elders so that we can go together, youth, the elders, and to campaign it right from the grassroots, because it's a high time 2025 before 2027 election, so that our teaming youth will know their right, will know their value.
At the end of the engagement, a clarion call was made to reawaken the spirit of young Nigerians in the north to utilize their potentials for sustainable development. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
President Bola Tinubu has departed Abuja for Dar es Salaam, Tanzania to participate in the Africa Heads of State Energy Summit in January 27 to 28, 2025. The summit is hosted by the government of Tanzania in collaboration with the African Development Bank Group and the World Bank. According to the presidential spokesperson, Bayo Onanuga, the president will join other African leaders, private sector leaders, development partners and civil society groups in Dar es Salaam to strategize to accelerate energy access across the continent. The summit will provide a platform for sharing knowledge, expertise and resources to address Africa's energy challenges. According to a Saturday statement by his special advisor, Bayo Onanuga, discussions will focus on accelerating energy access in underserved regions, renewable energy, energy efficiency, and mobilizing private sector investment. Onanuga stated that on the first day of the summit, Nigeria and other participating countries would present their national energy strategies, termed compacts, detailing their approaches to achieving universal energy access within 5 years. He stated that heads of state would endorse the Dar es Salaam Energy Declaration on the second day, outlining a unified roadmap for Africa's progress towards the Mission 300 objectives. On the foreign scene, the hospital that received the first 3 Israeli hostages released a week ago by Hamas from the Gaza Strip said the women were all discharged on Sunday. In a statement, Sheba Hospital said the 3 hostages who were flown to Sheba for treatment were released today. Emily Damari, Doran Steinbrecher, and Romy Gonen. All civilians were freed last Sunday in the first hostage prisoner exchange under the current Gaza ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas. Israel released 90 Palestinian prisoners in return after being handed over to the Red Cross and driven across the border to an Israeli military base where they were reunited with their mothers. The trio were flown by helicopter to the hospital in Ramat Gan, east of Tel Aviv. An attack on the main hospital in El Fasher, a besieged town in western Sudan, has left 70 dead and 19 injured, according to the World Health Organization, WHO. WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus described the assault on the Saudi hospital in El Fasher as appalling. In a post on X, he revealed that the attack led to 70 deaths and 19 injuries among patients and their companions. At the time, the hospital was filled with patients receiving care. Saudi Arabia also issued a rare statement condemning the attack as a violation of international law and humanitarian law. The statement called for the protection of medical and humanitarian workers, urging restraint and the avoidance of targeting civilians. Since April 2023, Sudan has been embroiled in a brutal conflict between Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and his former deputy, Mohammed Hamdan Daglo, leader of the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, RSF. The ongoing conflict has triggered a humanitarian catastrophe. Tens of thousands have been killed, over 12 million displaced, and famine is ravaging parts of western and southern Sudan. In some areas, families are surviving on grass and animal fodder. In sports, Paralympic bronze medalist Eniola Bolaji has etched her name in history once again by clinching gold at the Egypt Para Badminton International 2025. In a commanding performance, Bolaji defeated Sweden's Helive Sulumson 2-0 in a 21-1, 21-2 set in the women's SL3 final on Sunday, underscoring her dominance in the event. The African champion also showcased her prowess throughout the tournament, overcoming Shahinda Mohammed 21-7, 21-2, Basma Nabil Fawzi 21-6, 21-4, and Elizabeth Puma 21-2, 21-4 with straight set victories in earlier rounds. According to the Badminton World Federation, Bolaji has competed in 10 international championships over the past 2 years, emerging victorious in all, a remarkable feat that cements her as a force to be reckoned with in para badminton. Congratulations to Bolaji. Now, the countdown to Africa's biggest event, the CAF Africa Cup of Nations 2025, celebrated a milestone today with the unveiling of the official logo for the competition in Rabat, Morocco. The new logo, a modern and iconic symbol for African football, celebrates the heritage and unity of the African continent. The CAF African Finals between 21 December 2025 and 18 January 2026 in Morocco will be the latest chapter in the rich history of Africa's greatest show, and the logo for the tournament bridges the hope of sport and art and tells a story of pride, resilience, and hope. Still in sports, Sporting Lagos secured another away win over their Lagos rivals Madiba FC in March Day 7 of the 2024-2025 Nigeria National League NNL season. They defeated Madiba FC 2-0 in their quest to return to Nigeria top flight after losing their last game to Kun Khalifat FC in Owerri. Elsewhere, Rivers FC got the better of Abs Ilorin FC 3-2 away from home in a 5-goal thriller at the iconic Dan Anyam Stadium. Kun Khalifat FC returned to winning ways with the same 1-0 victory over First Bank FC. High-flying Abia Comets earned a point away to Crown FC in a goalless affair, while Gospel Apapio FC defeated Osun United 1-0. Doma United defeated Sporting Supreme 2-1 away from home, while the game between Basira FC and Carter Warriors ended 1 apiece. That's it for News Hour at this time. For more of our news programs and documentaries, to follow us on our social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. Thank you for joining us at this time. Good night.
Plus News Center, this is the News Hour.